Before the break, we asked what is said to be going on public display in Lincolnshire. We gave you a mysterious Roman artefact, the world's heaviest marshmallow, or the first ever World War I tank. But the answer is the first one, the mysterious artefact. So Yasmin and Wilfred are here, and I'm delighted to say Frank Skinner is as well. I feel we should get back to this artefact, though, because that was just too...
Yeah, have you seen
Well,
it?
let's have a look at it. We've got a picture of this artefact. So that is from 2,000 years ago.
I think it's the coronavirus.
Yeah, it looks like it. I think
Viruses were a lot more hard-wearing in those.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because it was just sort of bouncing around.
What would your
like a football.
guess be? What would a Roman do with that?
Well, it's called a dodecahedron, meaning it has 20 sides. Is that right? So they were trying to, can they design an object with 20 sides? Let's have another. This is fascinating. It doesn't look like something from Roman times at all.
No.
It was found near a place called Norton Disney.
Is it a kind of lamp?
This sounded like a scam.
It sounds made up, doesn't it? It's 3 inches tall. It's not, so it's not
I
massive.
wonder if it could be like a little lantern. You put
Well, I
a
was just
candle
thinking
in
lamp.
or something.
No, it's religious apparently. So you would say a prayer and someone would suddenly produce it, and your prayer would get louder or longer or quieter.
Incense, maybe?
Yeah, possibly, but I think it's got a hole in the bottom though.
Yeah,
you never
that's an
expected
issue.
this line of questioning, did you?
No, but I'm loving it.
The dodecahedron from Disney. So Frank is currently doing his stand-up show 30 Years of Dirt, which is about your struggle to become a clean comedian. How's that going?
I'm failing to become a clean comedian.
And I was saying to you earlier, can you tell that joke I heard, you know, when last time I saw you live, and we basically both agreed you can't tell that joke.
No, I can't tell that joke on here. No, the thing is that if you tell rude jokes, I don't think you're ever... This is an odd thing for a comic to say, but taken seriously as a comedian, I think it's seen as the lower end.
Is it?
Even though there's a long tradition. I mean, in Britain, definitely, you know, the postcard, George Formby, and way back before that. But no, so I thought I'd become... more sophisticated.
Okay.
I've failed.
So I think we've managed to select one clip that's not a dirty joke. Let's have a look.
Fantastic memory my girlfriend's got. We had a terrible row, and it was. I don't like it when we have the real bad one.
So I noticed, because I cycled past that theatre, that you were on, I think, maybe last year or just a few months ago.
Yes, well, the trouble is I keep doing my West End run and it keeps selling out. So my manager says, shall we do some more? And I say yes. So I was at the Lyric and that sold out, and then the Gielgud for 2 weeks and that sold out. So now I'm doing another 3 weeks at the Gielgud in August.
Brilliant.
And, you know, Shaftesbury Avenue, you really feel like you're in the theatre world.
Oh, yeah,
this
is my routine. It's like Billy Joel. You know, you said like, you do Madison Square Garden and once a month until there was a single empty seat, and then he'd stop. And he's been doing it for the last 20 years, so you're sorted.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I do. I am a complete fan girl here.
Oh.
I really am, because it's so civilised, your stuff.
Oh, thank you. No one's
I love
ever...
that.
Civilised.
I'm putting that on the poster.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been called civilised, but thank you.
Hey, maybe we should go and see the show, Yasmin.
I think I will.
You and I
will.
seriously.
I wish you
will.
would.
You think we
He
can
never
get in?
had me
You'd
on
be very
101,
welcome.
though. That remains a resentment, but we'll...
On Room 101.
Oh, I watch all the repeats. They're so
A lot
intelligent.
of people think it's still on.
Oh, no,
because
they
it's
show it.
repeated
You can
every
find
night.
them still.
Yeah, it's still going. We will live for 100 years after any sort of with Eggheads or Room 101. You'll still be alive in 1,000 years, Frank.
There'll
That's
be
the thing.
people on a show like this looking at Room 101 like we did at that Roman artefact, trying to work out what it was all about.
Well, I am
What was
old.
it used as
I
a
am
religious
old.
thing,
I
or
am old.
did they put a
Apparently,
candle in it?
and this man apparently is a dodecahedron.
So I've got to ask you about 3 lines, because obviously your show is 30 Years of Dirt, and I realised the pun immediately. 30 years of
well done.
Thank you, so it took me a little while. And I think we probably got the dreaded song. Can we play it? So I was a bit shocked when you said you think this time's up, because I'm ready to go with that for the next 50 years.
Well, the whole song is about anticipation and yearning for England to win a major trophy. So when the Lionesses won the European Championship, to continue with the song is to completely dismiss their victory
Oh, I
as
see.
irrelevant.
I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, well, of course, it's not 30 years of her anymore. It would be now about 50.
Well, yeah, if it was just male
If it was just male.
Which, of course, is what we all focus on.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it was a particularly difficult summer for male football fans, because the Lionesses won, which is brilliant, and then there was that disaster at Wembley where not only did the men lose to Italy, but someone launched a firework from his bottom. There was just a
Yes.
lot of hooliganism.
I must admit, I wished I hadn't done that. Looking back.
So you still think we could find a different song, do you?
Well, what's happened to football songs? It's almost like we were the full stop. Because I don't hear anything about a song for the next tournament. I think the FA are sort of wary, and that they might get
Too
the
much
wrong
money.
band.
That's what happened to football.
You'll never
much
get
money.
a better song. You'll never get a better song. So listen, okay, fantastic. Yasmin and I are going to come to your show. Let's talk a bit more about the papers.
Is there a
Frank will
date?
be at
I want to know why Wilfred
Yeah, come on, let
doesn't
me
want
just
to
mention.
come.
Frank will be at the Gielgud Theatre with his show 30 Years of Dirt this August. You can get tickets at frankskinnerlive.com. It's probably sold out already.
It hasn't sold out
All right.
yet, but we're doing pretty well.
Well, since you came on here, it's sold out.
So hurry along.
All
I would
right,
say.
okay, and we'll choose our date, Yasmin, if we can get in. So, Wilfred, you got a story about Brexit, and we saw this a few days ago, that Brexit will make food more expensive, which is kind of the opposite of what it was supposed to do.
Well, it's quite interesting that I can remember when Brexit happened, the crisis we had in terms of the border control is something I don't want to have to revisit. But I think we should actually protect our food quality in this country. So I don't have a problem with this, because we have some of the best food standards in the world, even better than Europe. So, for example, we take things like free range for granted, free range chickens. You start going to places in Europe, they don't have the same attitude to animal welfare that we do.
I don't know, I was in a supermarket the other day, right? I always look for those farm labels, Oakham Farm and stuff. There was a story the other day saying a lot of the farm names are made up. This is so the Bada Bing Farm.
But also, there was a
It's
story
just
last
made
week
up.
about some of the companies and restaurants using chickens that are really, really cruelly treated here in this country.
So one of the
a
things-
miserable chicken tastes
Miserable.
bad.
No, hold on a
I'm
second.
serious.
but what
You
I'm
can
trying-
taste the mood.
One of the things is that the consumer needs to understand the food chain, and unfortunately they don't. A big fact for you is here, most of the food that you eat in this country is eaten outside of the home, and the food standards are appalling. When you're buying stuff from the supermarkets, there are certain rules that they have to abide by, because the customers could see where it's produced, what type of quality, and those are the sort of standards I would like to see in food service.
Frank, what do you think about this?
Well, in basic terms, I mean, I'm no expert on this, but it seemed to be people who make money by importing food saying, can we make some more money, but we'll risk the health of the public while we're doing it.
I do, yeah, but it's whether Brexit checks have added bureaucracy. They're supposed to take it away.
It has added bureaucracy. It has made it a lot more complicated. But I would like people to understand the different quality foods.
All right, no, I understand that is a slightly separate thing. But also the other thing is, I thought we were going to eat lots of shrimp, so we're going to catch. I mean, listen to me, I sound like I'm living in a kind of dream world, but my understanding was we're catching lots of shrimps.
I don't remember
and
one of the
prawns.
Brexiteers' arguments being we'll eat more shrimp.
Well, because we catch a lot and we don't eat them. We're not a fish-eating.
Shrimps are not chicken.
No. All right, let's.
That's
and on that revelation,
We're breaking stories left, right, and centre here. Shrimps are not chicken. Yasmin, in the Times, the payout over an incident where a woman was called pretty by her boss. I suppose the question is, what job is she
really
in?
Interesting. Julia Roberts, Rachel Broughton, an employment tribunal judge, has ruled that suggesting a woman's looks might help a business is not acceptable. And this comes after Emma Nunn, who was told by her boss that she should attend a meeting because she was pretty, and it would make the men at the meeting feel, I don't know what. And she won the case, and it's so interesting, Because all my life, I remember that I'm not really calling for flattery. All my life, I thought the one thing I really wanted to be was pretty.
Well, you are.
No.
No?
No.
Who told you that?
No.
Shall we have a vote
now
on this?
it's...
Go on.
And now I realise...
saying you are. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I could take you to tribunal.
Yeah, no, I did. I was too scared. I was too scared to
They
say
just
it.
call me pretty.
Yeah, but was I right, Frank, when I saw this article? So she's accused her boss of calling her pretty. My immediate reaction is, well, what job is she in? Because if, for example, she was a model, modelling clothes, or, no, I'm not going to say cabin crew, that's different. But are there jobs where looks do matter?
Well, yes, clearly there are. I think if you watch television in general, you'll think that, look at this, good-looking people get on. But I think this is, I don't think I would have said that to a woman at work. I'm so wary now. When I hug women, it's like, you know those shin kicking contests you get at country fairs? It's totally arm and shoulder. I won't. Some men hug like they're trying to take an imprint. And I don't like that at all. I've got more and more careful. I think the problem with this story is these two had known each other before they worked together. Exactly. They had a sort of a non-professional relationship on both sides, according to the tribunal. And that's when I think that the borders were a bit blurred.
But also
and that's why I think it's injustice.
It wasn't just that he called her pretty. I mean, that's the headline's misleading. He wanted her to turn up at a meeting to use that attractiveness for whatever.
Oh.
And that's what she objected to, not for what she was able to do, but for the way she looked. And I think that's just not...
It's a very old-fashioned idea, to be honest.
She was ground bait.
Yeah, but I mean...
But I don't think that sort of stuff goes on.
It's absolutely appalling and terrible. However, he was trying to win business and maybe it worked. Would that be mitigation?
No.
It doesn't.
To save his business?
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work?
It doesn't work.
Okay,
I mean, there are female bosses. Would they say to some stud, come to the meeting because, you know...
Also, you could get slaves to help your business. It wouldn't make it morally correct.
No.
And you're not going to make a business decision based on how somebody looks. You're not going to be a very good businessman.
We've all agreed that we think it was terrible. Frank, the Nadia Bichkova, oh my goodness, sorry, I always exclaim whenever I hear her name because she's my almost favourite Strictly dancer. She's... It's like the connection with the previous story is scary here. She said Princess Anne is up for Strictly.
Yes.
Right.
Well, yes, Nadia, who is an incredible human being. I met her in the flesh recently with Kai, who she is together with in life as well as in dance. And the two of them together, you do feel like, are these human beings?
I know.
Because they're not just beautiful and in great shape, but they don't seem to touch the floor.
It's amazing.
When they move about.
Mustn't say any more.
I met the Princess Royal when I got my MBE last year. She touched the floor, I think I can fairly say.
She's a very real person.
But she's a former professional sportswoman, and she did do... Royal It's a Knockout. Do you remember that? When they had royal family, they didn't really compete.
It almost brought the whole royal family to its knees, that.
If only.
But wouldn't it be, I mean, I watch Strictly every week anyway, but if the Princess Royal was dancing on, whatever your views are on the royal family, that would be compulsive television.
And the story here is that she's apparently told Nadia, I might be up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that was light-hearted royal family. That's a great bit of photoshopping, by the way.
Is that? Oh yeah, my goodness! I see what they've done there. We could, if we can get our library working, we'll have a look at Nadia with the guy from the guy from Coronation Street. There was an incredible dance.
Did you dance? Who did you dance
No, I danced with Karen Hauer, who is my number one favourite dancer.
Can I say?
Can you go on it actually?
No, I've been offered it several times, but I don't have your humiliation border. But I I saw you, I don't know if you remember this, just after you came off it, and you said to me, you'd been evangelised. You said to me, honestly, dance, I see now the importance of dance, the significance of dance. You said, dance is at the centre of my emotional universe.
Yes.
I saw you about 2 months later. I said, "You're still dancing?" You said, "No, I don't bother."
No, I did feel like it was. I suddenly understood human poetry. Literally poetry in motion.
Honestly, you spoke about it. I was moved.
I do. Yeah, I do. I fell in love with the whole thing. In the Telegraph, there's a picture of an amateur angler who's landed the biggest ever fish caught on a rod in the UK, and you'll love this, Frank, because you're a fisher. Look at this thing. All I can think of when I see that is sewage. I'm really sorry. That thing is... No, I'm sorry. It's massive.
So delighted as well.
It's massive because it's been eating sewage for 10 years.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry. What would you do if you caught that, Frank? Would you throw it back in?
I think I'd use it as a sleeping bag.
It's amazingly massive.
My brother is an obsessive angler, Keith. And I took my son, he wanted to teach my son how to fish. And then Keith went off to the toilet, so it was just me and my son, and suddenly we got the big one. And I felt my heart thumping, and I hadn't trained me on what to do. And the guy next to us started giving me advice. And looking back, I think he just didn't want me to catch it. We were wrestling, and in the end, it straightened the hook. It was so heavy, it straightened the hook and got off. But I'm not kidding you, that kept coming back to me for about 3 or 4 days. I couldn't get over it.
Yeah,
because
you lost it.
this
And
big
what did
fish.
Keith say when he came out of the loo?
Well, he said I was an idiot, obviously. But when I see this, I mean, taking that out the water, honestly, would be a once in a lifetime.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Storm, of that?
Well, I'm not much of a fisher, mostly because I just don't have the time. I think fishing, much like cricket, are for people that have too much time in their hands. This guy started at 8:30.
I also love cricket.
This guy started at 8:30 in the morning, didn't catch this fish until 10:30. Hadn't caught anything
But he's
all
just
day.
sitting there. It's a nice day out, isn't
I know,
it?
lovely if you've got the time. I mean,
Why are
lovely.
anglers always